Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and I've got to say, the training in the Eve of the Crusade has been absolutely insane for the hell KVK that it's on its way between 1960, 2377, 1365, and 1093, and this huge roster of insane kingdoms and insane players. Because yes, what you're watching on screen behind me, for whatever reason it's lower quality, I can't figure out why it's not high quality, is Mr. Hope gem training and gaining like 300 million power, and Wild Lion did the same thing, gem training, gaining like 300 million power. And by the way, they may train all the way up to 3 billion power. They're just like, deciding if it's what they want to do, which is insane. It's just like a choice. They're like, do we do it? Do we not do it? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how they would get through that many troops. If they actually got through all the troops that they have been training, then they would be holding the literal record for the most dead troops in a single KVK. And if there were a KVK to do that in, obviously, this 2377 versus 1960 KVK is going to be one of the sorts of KVKs where that will be amazing. Now, I actually have my doubts because it's an Orleans KVK that will be very achievable. In this KVK, after a certain point, you basically can't garrison anything, especially against the sorts of kingdoms that are in here. So that's just my 2 cents on this one, okay? But long story short is that if they do decide to push to 3 billion power tomorrow, then I'm going to stream it. And we were talking about this. So if they push to 3 bill, I'm going to stream. I'll share the craziness. So consider subscribing if you haven't already. And now that you've just gotten a taste of this, by the way, this is just a taste. You did this. It took like hours to do, literally hours of just smashing the gem button because they had like 20 million gems to go through, literally like 20 million plus gems to go through. Yeah, completely insane. And for those wondering, wait, but why aren't they training like the full amount of troops? What's going on here? Your objective here is to be gem efficient when you're spending gems. I know that sounds weird, but it is still the objective. And the way that you do that is by hitting almost exactly 1 day worth of speed up. Because when the game consumes a 1 day speed up, it is more gem efficient than if you are doing like more than a day or whatever this amount is, right? And that's because when you buy speed ups from the shop, they give you a little bit of a discount for buying them in bigger increments. So using up exactly a 1 day speed up is the way to go. And you can see like, this is no joke. It's not on loop. It's a ton of tapping. There's a small amount of power gain at a time. And it takes a really long time to gem train like this. But we had a 15% rune. So like, here they go, off to the races. I believe that they had originally not planned to train yesterday at all. But because we got the 15% rune, they went for it. And you can't blame them. They wanted to avoid aligning with the Mightiest Governor event. But like, bro, it's a 15% rune. So like, yeah, you take that when you can get it for this many gems committed to training, right? Like if we're talking about a little gem savings over here, you take the big gem savings of like the 5% training speed boost. You get what you can get. GG. Let's go look at the overall leaderboard though, because it's been absolutely insane. I'm just going to leave up the picture-in-picture here of Wild Lion and Mr. Hope gem training. But if you want to see their sort of channel, I'll have a link in the description. You can check it out once this is all done. All right. I'll remind you of that at the end. But if we go over here to the leaderboard, all right, for the individual player ranks, I'm actually in the top 100 right now, but I'm getting passed by a bunch of farms. What's so insane is that when the buff window ended last night, I remember it being like, I think it was kind of even at like 2.5 billion points each for 1960 and 2377. But in the last 24 hours or so, I guess it's more like 16 hours, 1960 farms have put up like 500 million points. 1960 farms, you heard me correctly, have put up more points than probably most kingdoms put up in total over the entirety of the Eve of the Crusade. Insane, bro. So if we look at who's at the top of the list, both Wild Lion and Mr. Hope gain about 20 million power, which is completely nuts. And if we scroll through here, Addy is of course near the top. I mentioned in the KVK versus 1093 that was free for all, which, by the way, I think free for all KVKs are always a complete disaster and a terrible decision to make, but whatever. That happened. But in that free for all KVK, I thought Addy was like MVP, like one of the best players on the board. So they're up near the top, and they gained also almost like 300 million power. In fact, technically, what is this? 350 million power gain? 315? Insane, bro. You just take this score and you divide by 2, and I think that's the number of, millions of power that someone has typically gained if they're training T5, which everybody here should be, right? But as we scroll through this list, the thing that's really crazy is there's farms all the way up here, bro. The number of farms that have gained tons of points here is completely insane. Welcome to Rise of Farms, y'all. It's not Rise of Kingdoms. Whatever you think it's Rise of Farms up in here. It's crazy. So, this KVK is going to be absolutely in freaking Santa. Chisgule on the board. All right. And, I'm down at 100, very poggers. Just trying to go through some training speeds. Not all my training speeds, but, put some points on the board. I might put more on the board, but I didn't want to push during Mightiest Governor because, it's all infantry. I don't need any of them right now. So, if I'm going to train again, I want to get something in with that 15, but not so much certainly that I'm like taking sculptures from people that would actually like use them. I literally can't use them at all. Anyways, all the way down to the little old me cuddling up with Plato over here in the top 100. GG. And for Kingdom rank, you can see how this is shaping up, where 365 is now shot up to number 4, and 1093 is shot up to number 2. Before I went to bed last night, 1606 was hanging out in that number 3 spot. So it makes sense to me that 1093 would try to go for the sort of 1% damage buff. And the crazy part about this is that, I don't know that 2377 is really per se going for it. I don't know that 1960 is either. I think this is just these kingdoms just doing what they do. Which is the farms are all training, which is just what they do, right? The mains are training what they're training. It's just what they do. I don't know. I find it all to be completely insane. But I'm here in 2377 and I'm going to be streaming this KVK and actually fighting on it on my own account. And it's going to be very, very, very fun. From the very first zone, there's going to be crazy fighting. All right. And then there are also these kingdoms present. No disrespect intended, but the training score being 1/5, the total score, I guess. It's 1/30th. Okay. Insane. And I don't blame these other kingdoms for being we're not pushing. Because why would you? Right? Why would you? I don't know. What buff are we getting? Right, there's the damage buffs, rank 4, training buff, very poggers, right? March speed buff, honestly, you go for 5. 5 is not, it was 3% march speed. Okay, whatever, I don't know. It's all so irrelevant, but not as irrelevant as the research speed and the XP. All these spots, those are actually irrelevant. So who's making the play for 5th over here? Do we have it? 1606, hey yo, 1606, I just chill there, brother. Just stay there, right? The march speed ain't bad. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, I'm going to stream tomorrow if Wildlion and Mr. Hope are pushing to 3 billion. I don't know that they will, because I think we were talking about it and they said very casually, it's they're yeah, it's 350 grand. Don't know if that's going to happen yet. It's 350 grand in gems to actually do the thing. Just insane. But that's the scale of this KVK. Completely insane. All right. So like I said, consider subscribing. I intend to stream tomorrow. I do have a game night get together with some friends, which I really would like to attend. But if they're going to push to 3 bill, then I'm going to stream that. And I may still, even if I go to that event, get home in time to stream the final minutes of training to be determined. I mean, as of right now, 2377 is behind. But if Wildlion and Mr. Hope actually were to push, if they actually push to 3 billion, okay. maybe 2377 wins. But, you know, the task of actually getting rid of all those troops is insane. I can't overstate, like, how insane that will be, especially in the Orleans KVK where you can't have a prolonged garrison situation. Garrisons just die way too fast. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, 1 billion, 100 million, if you're 3 billion, 300 billion, like the flag's just going to burn. It does not matter what the power of the players are next to the flag, I think. Yeah, I don't think it will matter. I think if you own the field, it's all just going to be on fire. And forget rallying, just swarm it all, right? So yeah, subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow for that stream, hopefully. And as I promised, link will be in the description for the Wild Lion and Mr. Hope YouTube channel. Big shout out to them for giving me permission, not only to use the footage, but also to set up this stream, which may or may not happen if they decide to shell out the absolutely insane amount of money it's going to take to be the first ever to 3 billion in Rise of Kingdoms. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. And if you're wondering like, whoa, I hadn't heard about this KVK yet, watch the video over here, man. Watch the vid. It'll give you everything you need to know about the insanity of this KVK. And yeah, no, the scale of this one's pretty nuts.